So hey guys, today we'll be talking about Altergeist and mostly how it sucks. But before we start bashing Altergeist, might as well show off what Altergeist can do a little bit. So here we have just a replay that really exemplifies strengths of Altergeist. Would have appreciated if my opponent had a little bit more play, but whatever. So so we're going to start off with Prosper, and we're going to find a Malwisp, and that's going to be what we're going to add to the hand. And then now we can special summon Malwisp, normal summon Marionetter for Haunted Rock, sending Meluseek. Now we're going to link off Kukri and whatever that was, Malwisp. Now we special summon back Malwisp to special summon back Meluseek. And then we'll do Prime Banshee here. Extia, Meluseek. Yep. And now we'll send that Malwisp for Multi-Faker. Grab Paratrader here, Adminia, to set Protocol probably. We'll grab back Multi-Faker, and we'll pass here. So it looks pretty unassuming, but first things first. Manifestation here for Hextio. It was actually better if I were to flip Protocol first to summon Multi-Faker and Silquatus, but yeah, I'm worried about spell traps more, so I don't really care about that, and we can just summon Multi-Faker to this zone, or Silquatus, whichever one we're feeling, and Manifestation, we can just grab that back anyways with Silquatus later, so it's fine, I guess. But anyways, the Emergency Call will negate that, normal summon, Silquatus, tribute, Silquatus, now we'll Protocol, to special summon Multi-Faker, and this was the right call because Hextia does not have a once per turn, so as long as I have a monster to tribute, I can stop any, essentially, any spells or traps from activating. And here, during this duel, I activated it, like, what, 3-4 times? And can we still activate it? Yes, we can, because we have Adminia, so if I take my opponent's monster afterwards, I can put it in this zone, so I still have another spell trap negate. But what if our opponent wasn't playing like a deck that relied so hard on spells or traps? Well, I'll tell you right now, I have no idea what to do about that because we just have Protocol. Protocol, the effect to activate Protocol, not hard once per turn, but you can only use the effect to negate with Protocol once per turn, so that's one. We have one monster negate here, and then we have Silquatus effect to return, which can just return technically a monster, I guess. Which, honestly, not the best form of removal, one might argue, considering the other forms you have. So, yeah, I think that's it. You have Protocol negate, and then Silquatus effect to return, and then Adminia's effect to essentially steal your opponent's effect monster. Specifically, I just noticed this has another restriction I didn't notice. It has to be an effect monster, so you cannot take a Nibiru token with this. That is so random and annoying, and this is honestly why I think Altergeist kinda trash. All of the cards here, they just have a billion different restrictions, so notably the first thing you might notice is every single Altergeist extra deck monster requires only Altergeist monsters, so yeah, that sucks for a bajillion different reasons. I don't think we need to really get into it, it's just pretty self-explanatory. And then the only lock you have is Multi-Faker, but Multi-Faker is also your best card. So if we just consider Multi-Faker this way, I special summon Multi-Faker from hand, and then I special summon another guy, any guy, so I could summon Meluseek, for example. Then Meluseek can be linked off, add me Malwisp to special summon back Meluseek as well, so as you can see, that climbs pretty hard. Well, if you can get to that point anyways. Or we could even do like Multi-Faker, add, or special summon Malwisp, then we can add, like I don't know. Uh, let's see, adding, uh, Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we send Pukri as well, and then we might have Meluseek in hand to normal summon instead. But there's like options, I guess. But I guess worth mentioning before we go on, I did test and play mostly with just one multi-faker. I don't think it makes that much of a difference because multi-faker, for example, has a lot of enter synergy with your like Meluseek line, and even if you open both of them, they're like might as well be completely separate cards. It's like I guess one way to put it is like imagine we're playing invoked, right? So we want to normal summon uh, Alistair, of course. So in this case, let's say Meluseek is Alistair, and then multi-faker here is like Fluandre's Robina. So we obviously cannot normal summon both of them. That is essentially how it feels to play this deck. You have conflicting normal summons here, and they lock you out of like the other line essentially. So if we normal summon like Alistair, for example, okay, now there's no way we can summon Robina. If we summon Robina, nothing we can do with Alistair. Unless I guess you were to specifically open the Fluandre's trap, then you could normal summon Robina on your opponent's turn to be a little bit annoying. That is essentially how it feels, and yet somehow still worse because now that I'm listening to myself, somehow it sounds like Invoked and Flu have more synergy because yeah, this is a lovely old you cannot special summon monsters the turn you activate this effect except for Altergeist monsters effect, so that prevents you from summoning Promethean Princess. So that's pretty miserable. And with the amount of like just monster interactions you already have being relatively low, uh, not great. And the fact that you have so many Garnet cards, like even if you cut Paratrader and Revitalization, you still have to run Haunted Rock, and you have to run, I guess, Malwisp, right? So one of the reasons I hate Malwisp is because you have to run 2 copies of Malwisp, because its effect says if this card is added to your hand except by drawing it, you can only special summon it. Alright, you can special summon it. If this card is normal or special summon, you can target one Altergeist monster in your graveyard except for Altergeist Malwisp. Special summon it in defense position, but for the rest of this turn, it cannot activate its effects. You can only use each effect of Altergeist Malwisp once per turn. So, this card has so much wrong with it, but overall, it's a good card to have in your deck, I suppose. Better than literally nothing. But if we look at all these effects, first off, cannot special summon back Link monsters, but like, why can't it? If you special summon back a Link monster, the Link monster cannot activate its effects technically if you were able to do so, at least for the rest of the turn. And it special summons in defense position, so you cannot trigger, for example, a Meluseek effect off of this, or Paratrader if you bring back Meluseek or Paratrader. Also, you cannot do that if you activate Multifaker, because Multifaker also special summons in defense. Why do they all special summon in defense? Literally why? And, you know, while we're at it, if you special summon Marionetter, you can't activate its effect anyways. At least not the one to set an Altergeist trap directly from your deck. Worth mentioning is, for some reason, this is not hard once per turn, not that this is abusable, really. So, I mean, I guess we have Revitalization, so if this somehow gets into the graveyard, because, you know, your deck doesn't really have a good way to do this, you can normal summon Marionetter. Very epic. Like, this would be a 3-card combo to do, technically, if we were to normal summon Paratrader, send Paratrader, and then Paratrader sends Revitalization effect to normal summon Marionetter, and then we have to either grab, like, Protocol or Haunted Rock. If we grab Haunted Rock, that would mean we need a third Altergeist in hand. And while we're here, the lines, all of your combo lines just die to 1 interruption. So your best bet is just to simply open Protocol plus whatever. But that does not apply if we, like, for example, have Meluseek plus Protocol. If I were to normal summon Meluseek, Link Alpha Link Revo, we get Ashed here. I end on 0 interruptions, literally worse than passing on Meluseek plus set Protocol. If we have this, we can't be ashed at least, because if you try to run over Meluseek, assuming we have protocol set, then we will just search Maowisp and special summon it in the damage step, and special summon back Meluseek anyways, and we'll still get protocol negating. So that's still fine. So just in general, the deck has essentially, like, imagine we have layered interactions with Tearlament, you know, where we have, for some reason, hand effects. We have, like, for example, Tear Cache, Haveness. Then we have like graveyard effects like Medora and the other shuffler that I can't remember the name of. Then we have Salik in the back row, Prime in the back row. Then we have like monster negates on the field, right? They have like layered interaction just in different locations as well. And then meanwhile with Altergeist, we have like layered self-restrictions. Okay, this card can't do this because of this, and then this card doesn't do this with this card because of this reason. That's one way to put it. On the bright side though, Multi-Faker is good with like evenly or infinite impermanence if you manage to open them together. Like assuming we have like 3 copies, it's still not that likely, but you know. No Multi-Faker here. No Multi-Faker here. Looking for me Multi-Faker, and this hand is alright, you know? We can like imperm, chain Multi-Faker to special summon Silquatus, returning Multi-Faker, and that's like bounce plus infinite impermanence negate. And honestly, this is like pretty, well, how would I put this? Goodn't, you know? It's great that we got to interact with our opponent twice, but realistically, this is just a monster negate, and then if we still Silquatus bounce, do you perhaps notice a small issue with this hand? If this personal spoofing gets negated with like an Ash, we're pretty screwed. And you might be thinking, but how would that happen? Well, infinite impermanence, this will negate one of our opponent's monsters, so they'll have 4 cards in hand after this. And then if we were to bounce with Altergeist Multi-Faker to summon Silquatus, then our opponent still has 4 cards in hand. That means, at the very least, even if they pass at this point, assuming they for some reason can't do anything. But we're going to assume that they could have done something like, for example, special summon Ecclesia, and then tribute Ecclesia on the field for Moyi, and then we have to bounce back either the token or Moyi. So in case that happens, our opponent still has like a good amount of material, and believe me, we cannot get rid of like a Moyi. Not with this hand, right? And then if we get ashed on the spoofing, our opponent will have 4 cards in hand afterwards, because they will draw for turn before we can activate our spoofing, because it is a trap. And we'll have to shuffle back either Silquatus or Multi-Faker. Here we'll probably have to shuffle back the Silquatus, and then our opponent can run over us by battle. I guess we do get a draw though. Yeah, that draw was not very good. So yeah, in general, we're looking pretty damn miserable here with this hand. And even though we can resolve Multi-Faker multiple times, we can't build up any extra advantage. We can't do anything with this, so yeah, Multi-Faker, it's pretty, well, I guess, goodn't. And of course, we have no way to trigger like a trap on our own turn to summon Multi-Faker, so Multi-Faker is kind of like a good card and a bad card at the same time. And here's another one of those bad hands. Yep. And then here's a hand where we can't really accomplish much. So another thing worth mentioning is, for some reason, all these cards, they work somewhat differently. So Altergeist Protocol here, this specifically sends face-up Altergeist cards you control to the graveyard, and then you can negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. Epic. But then like spoofing here can shuffle from hand or face-up from your field, and worth mentioning that this is not an Altergeist card, this is personal spoofing. What are you, crazy? Personal spoofing. So Since it's not an Altergeist card, you can't search it. Epic. And also, let's see. Then we have Altergeist Haunted Rock. This card needs to send to activate, which is necessary for like Marionetter combos. But this has two issues essentially now. So this has this effect: when your opponent activates a trap card, you can send one Altergeist monster from your hand to the graveyard. Well, actually, three issues now that I look at it. So, second issue, this card. Well, let's go over everything in order. So, Marionetter only sets from the deck, and this needs to be set by the effect of an Altergeist card, which Marionetter is one of the only two cards that can do so, the other one being Adminia. Not that Adminia setting this does anything for you, so essentially only Marionetter as far as I'm concerned. And then you need to send two Altergeist monsters in order to negate an effect. After every, like, afterwards it'll be one card. And also worth mentioning, it doesn't send Altergeist cards, it's monsters, not cards. So another further restriction, making this even more niche and even harder to use. Great. Then while we're still here, let's look at, I guess, the amount of like removal here. All of it is targeted, except for like Protocol and Haunted Rock. These don't target, and you also have Memory Gint here. During the Bell phase, quick effect, you contribute one other monster. This card gains attack equal to the attributed monster's attack on the field. When this card destroys a monster by battle, you can destroy one monster your opponent controls non-targeting. And then both of its effects are hard once per turn. So, pretty awkward card, honestly. The first issue, of course, is how do you even summon this? But let's say you magically do summon this. This is your only way to do non-targeted removal. So let me ask you this. How does this actually help you against Makanko? I need to destroy a monster by battle. You don't say. And then I can destroy something? Just a card, specifically? Or what? No, wait. It's non-targeting destroy a monster, which doesn't work because they're equipped with Makanko equip spells, which prevent destruction. Yeah, so I guess your play is actually, in fact, to make access code talker and start popping back row. Yep, that's all we can really hope for here. That or we can make like a Z Atlantis or something. So that's cool, I'm gonna guess. Z Atlantis works like alright with Altergeist, I suppose. Might cut like Unicorn and just put it in. I cut IP as well. I've never summoned IP because there's just never an opportunity to, nor is there a reason. So probably going to cut IP, completely useless card here. But yeah, overall, I'd say this deck feels like a total 4 out of 10. The only benefit we have here to this deck is, let me think. Yeah, I can't really think of anything. This is a bit worse than, for example, like a Vanquished Soul. It's a little bit meta dependent on how good this would be, but if we were to be playing first against some kind of runic deck, and we can set up Hextia, I can do what I did to essentially that hero player, but more. For example, I didn't actually get to activate Protocol or Adminia, but I mean, if you get the combo off, it's pretty good, but the combo is pretty hard to get off because you need specific cards in your hand, like very specific. It's not just like any two cards that will do it, like Malwisp is dead in your hand, like always, straight up. Silquatus, that's dead. Paratrader is actually fine if you specifically have 1-for-1 to, I guess, summon this, and then normal summon like a Meluseek or something. I think it was. Something like that, and then we can just grab Malwisp. This sends like Ukri, and then we can make Adminia. So that's cool, I guess. But like a handy trick to be able to keep track of how many monsters you actually need to summon Adminia, or any of your Altergeist monsters for that part, is Malwisp is essentially 2 bodies, and then Kukri is like 1 additional. So it's just some basic addition here, as you do. So if we have Milliseek, we can link off the Milliseek for Malwisp, so that's 2 bodies, so that only gets us up to Hextia. If we have Malwisp plus Pukri, that is 3, so we can only climb up to Prime Banshee, and then Prime Banshee doesn't have anything to send, which kind of sucks. But I mean, you can still at least grab Manifestation and have it point to Prime Banshee, if that means anything for you. But also worth mentioning, I guess, is that, well, we haven't really talked about the Link monsters, but the Link monsters, so Hextia and Prime Banshee Tribute, and then Adminia specifically sends cards. And if we read this real quick, this sends for cost, and various cards sending for cost is like kind of cool to play around like Imperm and stuff. Except you probably died to Imperm like 9 years ago before you could actually set up any of these cards up. It's quite a yes-int moment where your cards can play around Imperm. Except no, they can't, because you already died to Imperm like 10 turns ago, so if your opponent draws into Imperm later, I guess you can play around it, but earlier, no, not really. It's not like we can activate spoofing on the first turn, so we can do, I don't know, like special summon Malwisp at some point, and then Malwisp effect to bring back Meluseek in the graveyard that hasn't triggered for some reason, and then spoofing this back for, I don't know, Bukri or something. Yeah, that's not happening. So, yeah, that's really not happening. But, yeah, the deck at least is fun to play, if nothing else. Even if it's a bad deck, I guess. So, yeah, that's all I got for you guys today. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.